This is Frederick. He is a 15-pound butterball, and although he is blissfully unaware, today is his day. Now I'm throwing together a quick and easy basting concoction with a cup of chicken stock, or in this case, a cup of my homemade turkey stock, a half a cup of butter, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, make that a heaping tablespoon, and a shot of your favorite hot sauce. Optional. Heat them together just enough to melt everything and dissolve the butter. And that's it. Now once that's all mixed together and cooled slightly, we break out our trusty hypodemic nurdle and go to work on Frederick. And proceed to inject some of this wonderful stuff into him, whether he wants it or not. Mainly concentrating on the breast area. That will be more likely to dry out than any other part. And when he's been sufficiently tortured, set him on a roasting pan, preferably on a rack, lightly greased, and stuff him with whatever interests you. This time I'm using about 4 stalks of celery, a big fat onion, and of course a few cloves of garlic, because I do that. And your mission here is to get as much of this stuff in him as you can cram in there. And when you can't get anything else in there, like about now, you quit. Now this time I'm trying an experiment that I've seen a few other people do with great success. I have flipped him upside down, and I'm going to stick him in the oven like this for the first hour to brown the bottom side for a change. And then at the end of that hour, I'll flip him over right side up for another 2 or 3 hours, depending. I have to say that it did take a bit of balancing to get him to sit up like this, upside down, but I think he's gotten used to it. We'll see. Next on the agenda, disassembling a butternut squash, which is sometimes easier said than done. These things are not fond of being disassembled. And I'm going to cut this one in half to make it easier to deal with. Now, first thing to do is to skin it, and I'm just wondering if a regular vegetable peeler will actually do it. I don't know. Ooh. It actually seems to. Talk amongst yourselves for a while. But meanwhile, on another front, that first hour is up, and now comes the challenge of flipping Frederick back over on his back again. now that he's nice and warm. Okay. Let go. Stop making messes. Well, that was interesting. Nothing important fell out or fell off, so now he goes back in the oven. Bye, Frederick. Meanwhile, the veggie peeler was actually tough enough to skin the thing. Now I want to cut it into something resembling about 1-inch cubes. The only real requirement is that the pieces be roughly uniform so they'll all cook at the same time. Done. Now, Stacey's squash recipe calls for some amount of a butter-like substance. Now, I'm using about a half a stick of the butter-like substance called butter. And she says some amount of light brown sugar. Rebel that I am, I'm using about 1/3 of a cup of dark brown sugar. Heat them gently together. And of course, the recipe does call for some amount of bacon. I believe that's some amount. And also, the Rebel is adding some amount of molasses, purely because it was sitting next to the brown sugar on the shelf, and I decided why not. Don't anybody tell Stacey. Continue heating gently until they are thoroughly mixed together. Then again, I'm not sure if butter and molasses mix together. Oh well. And when it's as mixed together as it's going to get, pour it over the squash. Which you have placed in an appropriate size baking dish. Talk about master of your kitchen disaster. And stir this all together. Making sure every piece is getting coated with this lovely gooiness. And then crumble up some of the bacon over the top of it. Some amount. However much you want. Then lick your fingers. And again, as I think, why not? Drizzle a little of this precious bacon grease over the top of it. I know my sister is having a coronary right now. I don't care. It's my squash and it's my bacon grease. Leave me alone. And this will go into a 350-degree oven for about an hour or until the squash is tender, while I eat the rest of the bacon. And I'm throwing together some homemade, from scratch, cornbread stuffing, fresh from the Pepperidge Farm package. Except I've added a little garlic, granulated garlic. That's a cup of chicken stock. And the rest of the bacon that I managed to not eat. which wasn't much. That was about 3 tablespoons of butter, a couple of stalks of celery, half a large onion, and a cup of chicken stock. And when this comes up to a boil, thusly, I dump in the cornbread and mix it all together, turning the heat off. And voila! Homemade cornbread stuffing, fresh from scratch. Sorta. Kinda. And we'll set that to the side for now. Now, during the last half hour or so, I've got the Maverick probe plugged in, and I'm watching for a temperature of 165 in the breast. It's getting there. And it's hit 165. And Frederick is officially done. And now for the hard part. To cover him up and let him sit there and rest for 15 or 20 minutes. And go make the giblet gravy. Doing some of the prep work the day before. To get it out of the way, the giblets is one of those jobs. I've had them simmering for about 3 hours now, which should be good enough. And I threw in some smoked turkey necks that I had stuck away in the freezer, just to add a little zest to it, a little smoky flavor, can't hurt anything. And it never hurts to have extra giblets. So, they're done, and I'll just let them cool, and then come back a little later and rip them apart. Gravy time. Got about 1.5 cups of tan drippings, and I'm throwing in a slurry of about 2 tablespoons of flour, and an equal amount of water. I'll bring these up to heat, and after it's simmered for a few minutes, I'm going to add cup of chicken stock for starters, and the giblets, which I cooked and diced up yesterday. Let this come up to a boil. And I'm adding some of the smoked turkey necks. I want to add that smokiness to it, but I don't want to overdo it. So I'll start here. Let these all get to know one another for a few minutes. I gave it a taste, and there was enough salt in the giblet water that it doesn't need anything. And I've decided to go ahead and throw in the rest of the turkey necks. Just because I can. Let these all mix together. And that's how you make giblet gravy. And it's time to cut into this beast. Sorry, Frederick. Not exactly a serving platter, is it? We will make do. excuse me. Never mind. This looks absolutely gorgeous inside. It must be sampled immediately. Oh, this is gorgeous. Yum. It's also hot. Time to get some of this onto a plate. Post haste. Add some stuffing. Homemade from scratch. And the butternut squash. Along with some of the juices. And the bacon. Add some token steamed broccoli. Call it a garnish. And the giblet gravy. Lots of it. I think I needed a bigger bowl. And the finishing touch. A little Chardonnay. The last of the Chardonnay. Oh dear. And if you'll excuse me, I have piggery to commit. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.